There was something else.
Well, spit it out. What do you want?
The police are looking for a man called Reginald Boris. He was hiding in a side street next to your shop. Did you notice anything?
If I noticed a little punk like that, I'd have given him an earful.
That I can believe. You're an expert on radio equipment, right? Can you tell me what this is?
Who the hell?
Darren. Can you help me or not? It's important.
Well, that's a plain old transmitter. Cheap Asian trash.
I found that thing in a ventilation shaft in a young woman's hotel room. What kind of range does this thing have?
Not far. If it's used in a room, a couple of miles at best.
And it's not possible to find out where the receiver is, right? That doesn't help at all. Damn.
I know all the hams in the area, and none of them would hide that kind of thing in a ladies' room. But I intercepted some strange Morse code last night. Long wave, just after 1800 hours. Someone knew. He said something about a girl who is now safe. He also said he'd be back in touch today at 1800 hours.
That could have been Reginald Boris.
A foreigner?
Yes. And apart from that, perhaps Old Fuller's murderer. And someone who wants to frame an innocent party.
And you want to stop that? Well, maybe there's a spark of decency in you yet.
Can we track down Reginald if he transmits again at 1800 hours?
Well, you bet. With directional antennas. I got one here. We'll have to build another one. We'll get his bearings from 2 different points, and then bang! We got him.
What do you need for it?
Oh, well, let me think. I've got a radio here. We can use that. I need a metal tube, a copper wire, at least a meter, and you'll need headphones and a compass to get the bearings right. You bring me that stuff, and I'll build you the direction finder. And hurry! There ain't much time till 1800.
1800 hours. That's 6 p.m., right?
Oh my God.
Huh. I won't be able to take the whole light chain, but perhaps I can cut out part of it. Alright then. There's no choice. I need the copper wire. I'll cut into the plastic insulation and pull it back carefully. And now I have a real nice piece of copper wire. I don't have to call right now. Alright then, I need the compass. I'll have to sacrifice the telescope. I'll just borrow it. Has Mrs. Biber already been questioned?
Yes. The chief interrogated her and her husband individually.
And?
Ask the chief.
How is Angelina?
Not so good. She pretty well flipped out when we took her back to the cells.
Can you blame her?
Right now, I don't know what I should think. I don't quite get it either.
I hope you do something about it.
Listen, we're on it. We're all working on just this one single case.
Yeah, well, there weren't too many other murders yesterday, were there? Fuller's basement has already been searched?
Yes, it was, really incriminating.
You weren't there?
The captain said I ought to stay at my post here.
He didn't want to have you there, in other words.
Kinda looks that way.
You don't give the impression of being the, faint-hearted type.
And I'm not. But from time to time, the old macho management style comes through, I think.
I was down there. You wouldn't have wanted to see it.
I would rather like to have decided that for myself.
You questioned Mrs. Biber, right? Did you get any more info?
That's highly confidential. I can't tell you anything about it.
Any new findings that exonerate Angelina?
Unfortunately, not. Mr. and Mrs. Biber were at home and didn't see or hear anything.
Did Mrs. Biber admit that she was being blackmailed?
That's going too far, Darren. The interrogation findings are not supposed to be public.
Fuller had a skeleton in his closet, did you know that?
I wouldn't be surprised. You got any details?
I think he blackmailed people.
Really? That's a serious allegation.
I've got no evidence, but I'm gonna get some.
Don't do anything foolish. You'd be better off not getting in the way of my investigations.
I won't. I'll search in the right places. You really believe Angelina murdered Fuller?
It hasn't got much to do with believe. We walked in on her standing over the victim, covered in blood with the murder weapon in her hand.
Why were you there anyway?
You mean in the middle of the night? Well, we got a tip-off.
One? And that's not suspicious?
Yes. That's the reason why I want to find your mysterious stranger.
Do you think he made the tip-off?
Possibly. It was an anonymous caller who said something about a break-in at Fuller's. If the stranger had really been following Miss Morgan, he might have seen her entering the photo store and then notified us.
Or he set a trap for her.
Yeah, well, we can only speculate until we found the witness.
Do you know that my mother almost died yesterday?
No, I didn't know that. What happened?
She tripped and cracked her head open.
Oh. I'm really sorry about that. Tell her from me to get well soon.
Don't you find it even a bit strange that this Brit appears out of nowhere and the next day we got a corpse and a serious injury?
Are you suggesting that her accident wasn't an accident?
I don't know.
I don't think we should start hunting around for possible crimes, Darren. We've got a very real crime to solve here.
Do you still believe the guy is clean?
No, I don't believe he is. You were right, Darren. He's got something to do with this.
And yet you still let him go?
Well, I had no choice. He answered my questions. I couldn't prove his involvement. But we'll know more soon, once we've searched the basement and spoken to Mrs. Biber.
So tell me, what came out of the inspection of Fuller's basement?
I'm not allowed to tell you any details. But between you and me, there's a lot of people with good reason to cut Fuller up. It's perverse, what he did in his basement.
But that's not enough for you to release Angelina.
The whole thing stinks. But I don't know what role Miss Morgan had to play in it. As long as that's unclear, we've got to keep her locked up. She was the one we caught with the knife in her hand.
But she...
I promise you we won't focus so much on her this time. We'll investigate all the possibilities. You've helped us, and and I won't ask you where you got the information that's put us on the right track. But you've got to keep out of this now. If Angelina isn't the murderer, then the murderer is still at large, and that could be dangerous for you.
That'll be just right for the directional transmitter. Here are all the things for the direction finder.
Very good. I'll build it up right away. But, first the theory. You take the receiver down to the coast, somewhere near the hotel. You turn on the radio, I'll set everything up, and don't fiddle with it. Then you turn the antenna slowly and listen for where the Morse code signal is the loudest. Look at the compass and write down the bearings and degrees where the antenna is pointing.
Good.
I'll do the same here with my receiver. Then we'll plot the bearings on this here map. Transmitter's located where the lines cross, understand?
Yes, sir.
Good! Now let me get on with it.
So, let's see. I got it. Back to the junk shop.
And? Do you have a bearing?
Yes, sir. Bearing at 73 degrees.
Very good. My bearing is 90 degrees. Go on. Plot the bearings.
Let's see. Your shop is here, and you had a bearing of 90 degrees. I was roughly here. This damn... Of course!
What is it?
A boat! Boris has got a boat. That's why no one here knows him, and why the police didn't find him. The lines cross a few hundred yards from the coast, about 2 miles to the east.
Good work. Now you need a boat. One of those lobster fishermen owes me a favor. You can use his.
And what should I do with it?
Sail out there, of course.
And serve myself up for a fight with Reginald Boris on his ship?
Didn't you hear the message? He plans on coming back into town again tonight, looking for you.
That's what he said? Huh, I must have missed that.
Well, go on then. You don't get many opportunities to be a hero.
I trust the police least of all. I'd rather get hold of the evidence of Angelina's innocence myself. And this time, it'll all be watertight. A wooden paddle that looks pretty heavy. Why would you need something like that on a sailboat? I'd rather leave it. It's clearly too unwieldy for me. Life jackets, a lifesaver, a few ropes, a buoy, and a gas can. Nothing of use at the moment. The lamp is screwed to the ceiling. If it was just lying around somewhere, it might fall over in rough seas. Let's see. Wow, this is a cool model. What have we here? A file titled Willow Creek. I don't believe it. Why the hell does Reginald Boris have pictures on his computer of a place where my mother regularly receives money? Something very strange is going on here. I'll take it with me later. First, I need to find some more clues to what's actually going on here. What the hell? What links Boris with Willow Creek, and what's my mother got to do with it? They're photos of me. They're all from yesterday, me walking around town. This is me leaving the store, and here I am going to the hotel, and here I am with Angelina in the diner. Huh, that picture's been taken through the window. That Reginald fella must have been creeping about the whole time. Huh. I'll take them, even though they'll probably be of no use. The cupboard looks like it's made of burl wood, but it can only be really a thin veneer, otherwise it'd be too heavy and expensive. Alright, a few maritime maps, tools, screws, and measuring instrument, and... a key. Cardboard folder. It looks really new. There's an A on the front. Huh. At the front of the folder is a small piece of transparent foil with lines on it. Strange. I'll take it with me. What else have we got here? Photos of Angelina. Some of them are clearly quite old. She can't be more than 13 or 14 years old in this one. And here she is as a kid. Huh. A note. New York, Boston. Perhaps that's her route? Yes. This proves that Boris has been following her for a while. I'll take the folder. The pictures of a big sailboat on a stormy sea. Maritime romanticism. There are hinges on one side of the frame. A safe. Hopefully it contains a few answers. Here's a windrose that you can turn. I guess the idea is the same as with Fuller's safe. But unfortunately, I don't have a stethoscope with me to listen to the mechanism. Nothing. A framed sheet of handmade paper. You can hardly read the writing, and there's some kind of wildly painted lines over it. The road to El Dorado is written at the bottom. Isn't that in South America? It might fit. Let's see. The foil fits perfectly. It shows a route around the southern tip of Africa. The route is southwest, south, southeast, east, northeast, and northwest. That was the right combination. Huh. A ring with an eye-catching symbol on it. Looks a bit Celtic. A tree or something. It's not gonna help me, though. A floppy disk, labeled with Biddeford and today's date. That looks more like a clue. I should have a look at what's on it straight away. If the disk doesn't contain any critical information, then I have to keep searching. Either way, I should get a move on. I don't know how long Boris is gonna stay on land. Damn, what's wrong now? The battery's dead, and there's no electricity on the boat. Alright, let's see if I can do something about that. A flip-up seat with a lock on it. Aha. That must be the ship's power generator. I guess the batteries are normally charged using a cable at the harbor. The generator's probably just meant for emergencies. Huh. Completely dry. I need to pour in some gas. Somewhere here was... yes, a gas can. I don't know much about sailboats, but I think this thing is called the boom. That's the thing that smacks unwary people on the head, knocking them overboard. All right, ready for the next try. Very good, but also quite loud. Hopefully no one can hear the noise on land. Huh. Let's see if there's anything on this disc that'll shed some light on what's going on. Mrs. Michaels' medical records? What the... Mrs. Rebecca Michaels. 2nd and 3rd degree burns on the hands, arms, and legs. Fractured back, partial cervical fracture, blah blah blah. Due to a bad fall. This entry is from 1973. Right after the car crash. Or rather, an alleged car crash. What does Reginald Boris want with my mother's medical records? Does he know her from her time in England? I'll deal with that later. Let's try and work out the Angelina thing first. Angelina. Hey, Fuller's store. And there's someone standing in the shadows. It's Mr. Biber. He must have found out about the blackmailing and then lost it. And there's Angelina. She's going into the store. Oh, this is the proof. Fuller was already dead when Angelina arrived at the store. Boris saw that Biber had murdered Fuller, then he must have called Angelina and then the police afterwards. Why did he get her arrested? Was she in the way? In his search for... my mother? Or me?
Ha! Good evening, Mr. Michaels.
You! Stay away from me!
That's very difficult on such a small boat, wouldn't you say?
What do you want from me?
It's all very complicated, believe me. But we'll have enough time to clear it up. We're both going on a little trip.
I don't think so.
Ah!
Damn it!
Ah!
It was really brave of you to take that drive.
Yeah. Well, I actually had no other choice.
If you say so. Most important thing is the disc was still okay. You saved me.
I just wish they'd caught Boris.
He'll resurface soon enough.
I should have got back quicker, but the boat wouldn't go any faster. I still don't know what he actually wanted from us. And if you fly back to England on your own, who's gonna watch out for you then?
Oh, it's nice of you to worry. But I've got to go back. And Boris seemed to be after you and your mother, right? Nothing's going to happen to me.
I still wish you'd stay here. Or that I could come with you.
We've been through this already. You have to stay here with your mother until she gets better. You can come and visit me in a few weeks. By then I'll know more about the mysterious Willow Creek.
What? What do you mean?
I'm going to investigate. Willow Creek, Reginald Boris, about the time your mother was at the castle.
Listen to me. You are not gonna do that. Please, keep out of this.
But I'm a historian. Digging into the past is just what I do. Don't worry, Darren. I'm going to miss you. Anyway, I know who could save me if I get into trouble.
Darren?
Huh?
They just called from the hospital. You should get over there straight away.
My mom. Mrs. Biba?
I'll be right there.
What was that call about?
Somebody from the hospital calling to see if you were in here. You need to get there fast. I hope it's nothing bad.
I hope so too. A ring. Damn big and heavy. A twisted tree engraved on it. Its roots curl round up to the branches. That's a postcard of Biddeford. It's very useful for getting from one part of town to... That's a postcard of Biddeford.
Mr. Michaels? It's, the doctor would like to speak to you.
Has something happened?
Just go through, please.
Darren,
Where's my mom?
Your mom's heart failed this morning.
What? No, that's impossible.
I really am very sorry.
Mom!
Hello, this is Rebecca Michaels. Unfortunately, I'm not at home at the moment. Leave me a message and I'll get back to you.
Darren? Darren, are you there? He's here, Darren. Reginald Boris is here. I went to Willow Creek. I couldn't resist. Please forgive me. I found out a few things about this place. It seems there's something like a conspiracy here, and I think Reginald Boris is part of it. I saw him today, and now... No. No! Go! Ah! Darren! Help me!
Hello? Hello? Angelina!
Wakey, wakey! We're there!
So, this is it. The one and only hotel in this godforsaken place. I had to change trains in London and then sit for another 45 minutes in a cab. And now here, I'm in the middle of nowhere. The village of Willow Creek itself is a bit further down the road. But I ought to take a look around here first. Angelina must have checked into this hotel.